The story is called Choirs. The balding, gaunt man and his wife drove away from their house at 8 o'clock that Saturday morning. The woman's hair was still as black and luxurious as the day he had first touched it in the balcony of the Colony Theater at 59th and Kedzie. There were again rumors that the building, vacant for years now, was going to be demolished and replaced with a donut shop and a mini-mart. Hair as black as the previous night, the man, heedless of the February cold, had sat on his back porch. Now that the mortgage had finally been paid off, and contemplated what he might do today. His wife had not shared the moment with him. Friday night revelry sounds from the bars down Western Avenue, peals of female laughter, the deeper voices of boys slurring hockey statistics, his own sounds of reverie, a sigh, then the sibilance of his breath being sucked through clenched teeth. He had gone in at midnight, the screen door slamming shut in the wind, the inner door latched tightly with his decision. 8 hours later, Saturday morning, driving north on Artesian, and his wife's hair so beautifully black that he could almost ignore the small globe of spit perched on her slack lower lip, glinting silver in the blue of this fine winter's day. The son and daughter, each in their teens, with their daughter being 5 years younger, were still asleep. The daughter would awaken first, promptly at 9, but she would not be concerned by the emptiness of the two-story house. The silence would tell her that she would find a note in her father's bold script on the refrigerator. She knew how her parents had loved to drive, all the memories they shared past the parks and all the theaters. Her father still enjoyed driving. The note she expected to see, or so her father assumed as he drove alone in silence, would be attached to the cold spot refrigerator by an ice cream cone magnet, something which should have been taken down years previous. It had been a constant reminder of her mother not to snack when the house was empty in the afternoons. Her mother had never gained that much weight, and now the magnet served as a reminder of summer vacations and simpler times. The man thought again that he was 45 years old, and what an incredible thing that was. As he waited for the windows to defrost, that he might direct his wife's gaze outward, he looked over tenderly at the woman he had married 20 years before. She was looking back at him, or possibly at some bright thing beyond him. He gently wiped her mouth, then loosened her bright wool scarf as the car's interior warmed up. He drove with his tongue mashed to his clenched teeth, thinking many things. He worried that when they returned in the next few minutes, the children might hear the garage door opener. Most likely they would think that the car would be pulling out. But it was Saturday. They probably wouldn't hear it at all. The weekend drives had become a common thing. Sometimes it would take several trips before it became dark. Since his wife had come home from Holy Cross, diagnosed with Alzheimer's. When they went on to their excursions during their first years of marriage, they had been content to simply watch others' lives pass by as they in turn passed by various neighborhoods and unincorporated areas of their world. Watch a new generation of children playing in McKinley Park, boys and girls who grew up to pair together and walk hand in hand down the same path. His wife had always enjoyed going to the park in the autumn and stare in wonder at how many different colors there were for the leaves on the trees. As he thought of the note he had left beneath the magnet, perhaps he should have left it on the counter, that the children might not see it first thing. Lindsay had been born the summer he had bought the 1976 Sunbird. The car had always been a part of her life, Johnny's as well. He could not remember which relative they had given the baby seat to. The car still ran like a dream. It seemed as if he were dreaming now. He looked over at his wife as he eased the car west onto Marquette. Would she notice the sheen of sweat on his bald head? Sweating, though he was chilled to the bone, the interior of the car as warm as Indian summer. Seeing her fidgeting with her skin chilled him even more. Honey, he spoke to his wife, almost there. No more cute nicknames. Honey or dear had sufficed for months now. Patiently so. He said it again, wanting to believe that she understood that he was talking to her. The disease had destroyed her quickly. He could cry at night no longer, on the back porch, in the darkness of night, like his wife's hair so black. He told her they were going towards McKinley Park to see the autumn colors, south down Western, then back towards home. There would be no park. He was cold, but not much longer. No, no park. It had been Groundhog Day when they had gone out with his wife for the second date. They had laughed over a silly thing like newspaper reporters writing about a little furry animal sticking its head out of the ground at Lincoln Park Zoo. The groundhog hadn't seen its shadow that year. At times he forgot if that meant that winter was ending or if it was to be extended. He wondered if it were like that for his wife at the beginning, if she had just started forgetting simple things. The first time he had noticed she was drinking cough syrup with a tablespoon, the maroon liquid dripping thickly down the sides of her mouth to her chin. He hadn't worried about it until it occurred again, and he realized that she was trying too hard to rationalize her mistakes. Things ran in circles, he thought, the car driving in a 3-block square area. His wife was dribbling again, telling her that they were in the park. He mentioned the maples and the sycamores, the reds and the golds, and as he pulled the car into the garage, he was shivering openly now. His wife had fallen asleep. He thought of one of the Shakespearean sonnets, one his wife has read to him because it meant something to her once. He couldn't recall the exact wording. The sonnet was about love and aging and birds and the trees. Bare ruined choirs where late the sweet birds sang. What was it? He wanted to laugh when he thought about waking his wife to ask her if he were correct. When had he become such a coward? Would the newspaper say how this would affect his son and his daughter? He talked aloud about the trees and the birds. He never mentioned the cold. The groundhog had not seen his shadow again this year. What did that mean? He wasn't certain anymore. He reached over and touched his wife's beautiful black hair, stroking it as though it were the first time. Touched the garage door opener with his other hand several times, finally letting it close. He leaned closer to his wife, watched the trees through the windshield long after the door hummed shut, watched until his eyes had adapted to the darkness so well that he could make out the shadows of each tool on the workbench, each yard game piled against the wall nearest him, and the faint light from behind the curtained window. Bare ruined choirs, he said one last time. His wife no longer snored in her sleep. He missed that sound. He could not hear the heater. It was warming them so well, taking away the cold, the way their lives had become. He touched her hair, her crooked hands, the windshield fogging slightly, her face becoming blue as her scarf and the sky outside. He held her close, and soon they were both dead.